Hello, this is Bert from Infrared Heating UK. In this video we will show you how to install the underfloor heating film. First, hoover the floor and make sure the subfloor is completely clean. Then lay down the 6mm thermal insulation boards. These boards are easy to cut to size and they don't need to be glued or fixed with adhesive. You can simply use the heavy-duty adhesive tape supplied in your kit to secure the boards together. Next, start laying the infrared heating film. Leave a gap of around 50 to 100 mm around the edges of the room. In this installation we left a slightly larger gap because of the radiator pipes along the wall. Once the film is laid in position, secure it with the cloth tape provided in your pack. Lay each strip of heating film side by side, making sure they don't overlap. The strips should sit next to each other to cover as much of the floor area as possible. If you have a smaller or tight areas, you can use narrower film widths. For example, here we used 50 cm wide film instead of the standard 1 meter. There is also an 80 cm option. So you can plan the best layout to maximize coverage. We use our own branded heating film built to a high standard. Once all the film is laid out, you can move on to the electrical connections. The crimp connector should be placed so that one side sits between the copper electrode and the polyester layer, and the other side remains on the outside. On the unused end of the film, apply a green termination disc. This safely insulates the exposed copper electrode. When connecting the wiring, strip the cable carefully. Make sure to remove both layers of insulation, as this is a class 2 system with double insulated cable. The inner transparent layer must also be removed to ensure a proper connection. Once connected, the crimp and cable should be fully enclosed using 2 pieces of bitumen insulation tape. This creates a secure and well-insulated connection. To avoid any raised areas under the floor finish, cut a small recess into the insulation board so the connection sits flush. The cable itself is thin enough that it will compress into the insulation and does not need a recess. When joining 2 film strips, twist the wires together before crimping. Then insulate the connection in the same way and recess it into the insulation board. You will also need to install a floor temperature sensor. Cut a small channel into the insulation board and place the sensor probe inside, running it back to the thermostat. Secure it with tape, ensuring the probe sits neatly beneath the heating film to accurately measure floor temperature. The heating film itself does not need to be glued or fixed, it can simply be secured in place using adhesive tape. Once all wiring is complete, check the resistance of the system with an electrical tester. The formula for the expected resistance reading is in the description. After testing, cover the entire installation with a vapor barrier. This is a thin protective layer that creates a Class 2 electrical system by adding an extra layer of insulation. Lay the vapor barrier in strips, overlapping each section, and secure it with tape. Finally, we use the thermal camera just to show you on the video how the film operates. This is not a required step.